The prince's descent to a turkey's life is a life without awareness of soul, and it's a form of madness. It's the furthest extension of that split between being a Jew at home and a man in the street. But by now, all of us are like that. We've all been asked to adapt ourselves to modernity, to fit in, to give up our unique soul, put our consciousness of the indestructible uniqueness within us to sleep, to forget about it, to sacrifice it, to put it off, to get to it later. We've followed Kafka's advice far too well. We also ignore the indestructible within us. Maybe we've taken it further. Maybe we've even forgotten there is an indestructible. Gregor's sister couldn't save her brother, though she tried. In the end, he became for her a true Ungesagter. She went on with her life while he became a dried-up corpse and got swept up by the house family. Greta had no capacity to redeem her brother, but the wise man did. The key to the parable is the wise man knows how to go below the table because he's been there before. He understands the loss of soul because he himself has experienced the pain of losing soul. And without that understanding, he really couldn't help. And this is what Nachman understood, what the Hasidim call the descent for the sake of the ascent. Now, in simple emotional terms, that's simply having your ups and downs. But at a deeper level, it's how to descend to the lowest spiritual places and then rebound. It's something we'd all like to learn how to do. Rabbi Nachman said the greatest sophistication is to work out how to avoid sophistication. He struggled as a man who had tremendous knowledge, who had all the literature at his fingertips, to find a way back to simplicity. He was in a conscious effort of rising and falling. He would constantly begin anew. His follower, Rabbi Nathan, writes, "It happened time and again. Each time he would start all over. He would begin anew many times in a single day. Even in the course of a day, there were many times when he would fall away from his highest level. But each time he would start again, no matter how many times it happened. But at times it went even further. This is a remarkable thing, a unique thing. He sank so deeply into inanition, into nothing, that he would tell his followers, 'Now I know nothing, nothing at all.' They didn't believe him, but he insisted, 'I really don't know anything right now.' They were actual moments in the hollow place, Kafka described in his diary. That moment when the man from the country feels he can't get through the gate. Some have described Rabbi Nachman's cyclical psychology as manic depression. But there are any number of manic depressives who are not religious geniuses, just as there are any number of depressed folks who are not Franz Kafka. I say this way, Rabbi Nachman was deeply sensitive to every movement of his spiritual life, and every moment and every gesture, which includes his words, his gestures, his actions, and his dreams. He did not view his spiritual experiences in clinical categories the way we would. He viewed what we would regard as symptoms as messengers from the King. By the way, Jung says something, God is in the symptoms. Well, if you eliminate the symptoms or cover them up, that's where we are in life. To arrive at nothing, to shed for a moment all his knowledge, was an opportunity also to begin anew, to become completely simple. It was a moment of pain, but also the first step of a more profound revelation. The Rebbe said once, "My teachings are very unique, but my I don't know is more unique than all my teachings." A few weeks before his death, a large group had come to see him. By then, he journeyed to Uman. The Rebbe said, "Why do you come? Don't you realize I don't know anything? I'm just a simpleton." Then he broke bread, taught a Torah lesson, and spoke with us at length with true grace and joy. Cried out from the depths of his heart, "Never give up. There's absolutely no reason to give up." This alchemical transformation, this miraculous rebound from despair, is the heart of his teaching. Never despair, he said once. And even more amazingly, he said, there is no such thing as despair. What could Rabbi Nachman have told Franz Kafka if they ever spoke? During the book, I bring them together. Franz Kafka appears to be in a coffee mug. Well, he appears out of his coffee mug. And I bring him with me all the way from New Orleans to Frankfurt to Uman so he could meet Rabbi Nachman. I did that service for both of them in 2008. And I wondered what they would have said to each other. What would Rabbi Nachman have told the man from the country? Kafka's position in life was excruciating in so many ways. His illness and tuberculosis had cut short his life at age 41, just when he found love for the first time. Or his own constant struggles with uncertainty. The frequency with which he wrote and burned. He burned thousands and thousands, maybe 90% of every word he ever wrote. Kafka lived the life of the man from the country, who stood at the gate all his life, only to see it shut on him. When he was dying and killing, he had received proofs of a book, a man, hunger artist, and he was correcting proofs the day before he died with tears rolling down his cheeks. The Hunger Artist, you know, the story of a man who gradually starves himself to death and no one notices. At the time he was doing that, Kafka himself weighed 80 pounds. Yet Kafka was not a nihilist, because he did glimpse that light, and he mentions that light. I think that's important to remember. It shouldn't be forgotten. What would Rabbi Nachman say to him? He was reaching out to secular Jews when he came to Uman. He left his followers behind and hung out with atheists in Uman. He played chess with them. His followers were astonished. What are you doing with these guys? These are the ones who don't believe. And you're hanging out with them. You're dying. But he wanted to reach out to them, and I think that's why he left his tales. It's interesting because as an expert on atheism, on doubt, on heresy, Rabbi Nachman made a distinction. He said there were two types of atheism. I'm going to leave you with this thought. The first type of atheist comes to his atheism or her atheism through other religions or through philosophy or through science. In such a person, he did have an answer. Because he believed that at the origin, everything had been kind of together, and there was a primordial shattering of the vessels. And bits of the spiritual light were scattered everywhere, in every part of the world, in every realm of thought. There are little glints and gleams, radiance of divine truth. So by finding those common sparks in another person's belief, he could begin to bring them back to belief in God. You know, we can be scientific, we can make great discoveries. Do we have to lose our sense of wonder? Isn't there still a sense of wonder? There's something to seize on in what other people believe. That's what Nachman thought. But there was a second kind of atheism. And this second kind of atheism could not be answered by an argument. Because it's rooted in that exact feeling of emptiness, which is truth. And Franz Kafka lived it when he said, I am divided from all things by a hollow space. Now it so happens that hollow space is how the Kabbalah of Rabbi Isaac Luria describes the emptiness that precedes all of creation, the Tzimtzum. In other words, the first act of creation in the Kabbalah of Isaac Luria is not a positive act, but a negative. The divine concentrates itself into itself to create a hollow space where God is entirely absent. And that is the site of creation. I'll tell you something amazing. You know that when they discovered the Big Bang microwave background radiation that Penzias and Taylor, those two Bell Lab scientists discovered, They kept turning their microwave antennas around and picked up the same radiation in all directions. How could this be? And they figured out that was the noise of the Big Bang, essentially. That was the energy still, the vibration of the Big Bang was still detectable. Well, in the same way, Rabbi Nachman described this instant, this initial withdrawal, this initial empty space. It's still detectable, not with a microwave antenna, but with the hearts. It's found in that feeling of emptiness, in that feeling of loss, in that feeling of there being no God. So that is a second kind of atheism. And Rabbi Nachman said, for that atheism, there's no argument. It can only be answered with a song. Thank you.